Are you ready for a story that will transport you to a peaceful and tranquil environment? Join us on Midnight Murmurs as we follow a young girl's journey to retrieve her lost kite and discover the beauty of nature. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more soothing bedtime stories. It was a breezy day, and the sun was shining bright in the sky. A young girl named Lily was playing in the park, flying her new kite that she had just received as a birthday gift. The kite soared high in the sky, dancing and twirling with the wind. Lily was filled with joy and excitement as she watched her kite fly higher and higher. However, as the wind grew stronger, Lily struggled to control the kite, and suddenly, it was caught in a gust of wind and flew away from her grip. Lily's heart sank as she watched her beloved kite disappear into the horizon. Days passed, and Lily couldn't stop thinking about her lost kite. She knew she had to find it, no matter what. She had heard stories of how kites could travel miles away before finally getting caught in trees or power lines. Lily couldn't bear the thought of her kite being lost forever. One morning, she decided to embark on a journey to find her lost kite. She packed some snacks, water, and a map, and set out on her adventure. As she walked through the fields and meadows, she felt the cool breeze on her skin and listened to the soothing sounds of nature around her. She couldn't help but feel a sense of freedom and wonder as she explored the world outside of her neighborhood. As she walked, she saw a beautiful butterfly with wings as delicate as lace, fluttering gracefully in the air. The butterfly danced around her, almost as if it were leading her on her journey. Lily smiled, feeling grateful for this small moment of beauty. As she continued walking, she stumbled upon a rabbit hopping through the tall grass. The rabbit stopped and looked at her as if to say hello. Lily reached out her hand, and the rabbit hopped over to her, letting her pet its soft fur. As the sun began to set, Lily climbed up a steep hill, hoping to get a better view of the surrounding area. She huffed and puffed, her heart racing with excitement as she reached the top of the hill. From there, she saw something glimmering in the distance. She squinted her eyes and realized it was her lost kite caught in a tree. Lily's heart filled with joy and relief as she ran down the hill towards the tree. With all her might, she climbed the tree and retrieved her lost kite. As she flew it high in the sky once again, she knew that this adventure had taught her something valuable. She learned to appreciate the beauty of nature, the kindness of animals, and the importance of never giving up on a goal. As she walked back home, she felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that she had found her lost kite and discovered a whole new world in the process. It was a bright and sunny day, and the young girl couldn't wait to fly her new kite. She had spent hours building it with her dad and was excited to see it soar high in the sky. As she ran across the open field, she felt the wind rushing past her face and the kite tugging at her hand. Finally, the young girl launched the kite into the air, and it soared higher and higher. The colors of the kite were vibrant against the blue sky, and the young girl couldn't help but feel a sense of pride as she watched it fly. She tugged on the string, and the kite danced and swirled in the air, making her heart race with excitement. Suddenly, a gust of wind caught the kite and pulled it away from the young girl's grip. She frantically ran after it, but it continued to rise higher and higher until it was just a small dot in the sky. She looked around, hoping for a sign of where it might have landed, but there was no trace of the kite. The young girl didn't want to give up on her kite, so she decided to go on a journey to retrieve it. With a sense of determination, she packed a bag with water and snacks and set off in search of her lost kite. As she walked through fields and meadows, she took in the beauty of the world around her. The tall grass brushed against her legs, and the sun shone down, casting a warm glow over everything. The young girl felt a sense of peace and serenity as she walked, enjoying the simple pleasure of being in nature. As the day wore on, the young girl grew tired and thirsty, but she didn't give up. She knew that her kite was out there somewhere, and she wasn't going to stop until she found it. She walked through streams and over hills, never losing hope. As the sun began to set, the young girl saw a glint of color in the distance. She ran towards it, heart racing with excitement, and found her lost kite caught in a tree. With a sense of relief and joy, she retrieved her kite, packed up her bag, and started the journey back home. As she walked, the young girl looked up at the sky, watching the colors of the sunset change with each passing moment. She smiled, feeling grateful for the adventure she had gone on and the lessons she had learned. She knew that she would never forget the day she lost her kite and went on a journey to retrieve it, and that the memory would stay with her forever. The young girl set off on her journey through nature, leaving the safety of her familiar surroundings behind. She walked through fields and meadows, taking in the sights and sounds of the world around her. The sun was warm on her face, and the grass tickled her bare feet. As she walked, she felt the breeze in her hair and heard the gentle rustling of leaves. The fields were dotted with wildflowers, and their sweet fragrance filled the air. The young girl felt like she was in a different world, surrounded by beauty and wonder. As she walked further, she came across a butterfly fluttering in the air. The butterfly was a vibrant shade of blue and flew gracefully, almost as if it was dancing. The young girl watched in awe as the butterfly danced around her and then flew off into the distance. Continuing on her journey, the young girl came across a babbling brook. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and she could see fish swimming beneath the surface. She knelt down and cupped her hands, taking a sip of the cool, refreshing water. As she continued walking, she heard the rustling of leaves and saw a rabbit hop out from behind a bush. The rabbit paused for a moment, studying the young girl before hopping off into the woods. The young girl smiled, feeling grateful for the brief encounter. As the day wore on, the young girl grew tired and her feet grew sore. But she was determined to find her lost kite, so she kept walking. She came across a hill that looked steep and difficult to climb. But she knew that the kite could be anywhere, so she started to climb. As she climbed, the wind picked up, and the young girl's hair whipped around her face. The climb was steep, and the young girl's muscles ached. But she kept going, determined to see what was on the other side. Finally, she reached the top, and she gasped at the view. She could see for miles in every direction, and the beauty of the world stretched out before her. And there, caught in a tree in the distance, was her lost kite. The young girl felt a surge of energy and ran towards the tree. She climbed up the tree and retrieved her lost kite. She hugged it tightly, feeling a sense of accomplishment and gratitude. She knew that the journey through nature had been challenging, but it had also been beautiful and rewarding. With her kite in hand, the young girl set off on her journey home, feeling a sense of peace and contentment. She had discovered the beauty of nature and the importance of perseverance. And she knew that she would never forget the adventure she had been on. The young girl had been walking for hours, her feet aching with every step. She had traversed fields and meadows, climbed over fences and streams, all in search of her lost kite. Her body was tired, but her spirit remained strong. She would not give up until she had found her kite. As the sun began to set, the young girl approached a steep hill that rose up in front of her. It looked daunting, but she knew that she had to climb it to get a better view of her surroundings. With a deep breath, she began to ascend the hill, her legs trembling with effort. As she climbed higher and higher, her legs began to ache, and her lungs burned with exertion. But she refused to give up. She was so close to finding her kite, and she could not let exhaustion get in her way. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she reached the top of the hill. She looked out over the horizon, scanning the landscape for any sign of her kite. And then she saw it, a small glimmer of red caught in the branches of a tree in the distance. A surge of adrenaline rushed through her body as she made her way down the hill towards the tree. She ran as fast as she could, her heart pounding in her chest. And then she reached the tree, and there it was, her lost kite, caught high up in the branches. At first, the young girl was disheartened. The kite was too high up, and she didn't know how to get it down. But then she remembered something her grandfather had told her once: perseverance is the key to success. With those words ringing in her ears, she began to climb the tree. The climb was treacherous, and the branches were brittle and rough. But the young girl was determined, and she climbed higher and higher, never looking down. Her hands were scraped and her clothes were torn, but she refused to give up. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she reached the top of the tree. She reached out and grabbed her kite, pulling it down with all her might. It came free, and the young girl held it up triumphantly, a huge smile on her face. With the kite in her hand, the young girl made her way down the tree, her body trembling with exhaustion. But she had done it. She had found her lost kite, and she had done it through sheer perseverance and determination. As she made her way back home, she felt a sense of pride and accomplishment that she had never felt before. She had learned a valuable lesson that no matter how hard things might seem, perseverance and determination could see her through any challenge. The young girl stood at the top of the hill, her eyes fixed on the tree where her lost kite was caught. She had journeyed through fields and meadows, met various animals, and climbed a steep hill, but she had never given up on her goal. And now, after all her perseverance and determination, she had found her lost kite. As she carefully retrieved her kite from the tree, the young girl felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. She looked out at the beauty of the world around her, the vibrant green of the trees, the blue sky above, and the warmth of the sun on her skin. For a moment, she was lost in the magic of nature, and the thought that had been niggling at the back of her mind became clear. She realized that the journey to retrieve her kite had been more than just about the kite. It had been about the journey itself, about discovering the beauty of the world and the importance of perseverance. She had been reminded that life was not always easy, but that the rewards of hard work and determination were worth it in the end. The young girl stood there, lost in thought, watching as her kite soared high in the sky. She knew that this journey had changed her, had opened her eyes to the wonder of the world around her. And as she walked back home, her kite flying high above her, she knew that she would never forget this adventure. For the young girl, the journey to retrieve her lost kite had been a lesson in life, one that she would carry with her always. And as she looked out at the world around her, she knew that there were many more adventures waiting for her, and that she would face them all with the same determination and perseverance that she had shown on this journey. Thank you for joining us on Midnight Murmurs for this beautiful bedtime story. We hope it helped you unwind and drift off into a restful sleep. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more soothing stories like this one. Sweet dreams, and we'll see you next time on Midnight Murmurs.